My father called this map the path to victory. To me, it was a death warrant for the only man I have ever loved.
I was raised to be the sword of my clan, but tonight I become their greatest traitor. How do you choose between the people who gave you a name and the person who gave you a reason to live?
Welcome to Commies Network, your home for the world's most evocative and soulful romance dramas. Today, we bring you a story of a sacrifice that changed everything.
For 1,000 years, the Solaris and the Lunar clans have shared nothing but the air they breathe and the blood they spill. The valley is a place of hard lines and ancient grudges.
Serafina, the general's daughter, was the living embodiment of Solaris pride. She was a master of strategy, the mind behind the raids that kept the lunar exiles pushed back into the shadows of the mountains. To her people, she was a hero. To her father, she was a weapon. She grew up in a world of polished steel and unwavering light, taught that the shadow dwellers across the river were less than human, monsters who lived in the dark and plotted their ruin. She never questioned the narrative. Until the day she followed a wounded deer into the grey woods, a place where the sun's reach was weak and the rules of the clan didn't seem to apply. She found him at the edge of a stream. He was a lunar exile, unmistakable in his midnight blue cloak and silver-threaded armor. He was wounded, a Solaris arrow protruding from his shoulder, an arrow she recognized as one from her own unit. Instinct told her to draw her blade and finish him. Her father's voice echoed in her mind, a cold litany of "destroy the darkness." But as she looked at him, she saw the rise and fall of a chest struggling for air. She saw the way his fingers clutched at the moss, and the way his eyes, pale as moonlight, met hers, not with hatred, but with a weary, soulful acceptance of death. In that moment, the monster vanished. There was only a man, and in the silence of the grey woods, Serafina felt the first stirrings of a sacred betrayal. The weeks that followed were a descent into a beautiful madness. Serafina lived a double life that threatened to tear her apart. By day, she stood over maps and planned the final cleansing, a tactical strike designed to wipe the lunar exiles out for good. By night, she stole away to the cave in the grey woods, nursing Dante back to life. They were two enemies who had found a sanctuary where the war was just a distant thunder. Dante spoke of the lunar people's love for the stars, of their songs for the silent night, and of a peace that had been stolen by the Solaris' fear of the dark.
"We are not the demons of your legends, Serafina," he whispered one night, his hand resting gently against her cheek.
His touch was cold, like the night air, but it warmed a part of her soul that had been frozen since childhood. She realized that the sacred duty she had been raised for was a lie. The lunar people were not the darkness. They were simply the other half of the world. But as their love deepened, so did the danger. Her father had grown suspicious of her nightly excursions, and her brother, Kaelin, had started counting the missing medical supplies from the infirmary. The clock was ticking toward a confrontation that neither of them could survive. The breaking point came at dawn. General Solaris announced the launch of the Eclipse strike. They were to bypass the usual mountain routes and hit the lunar settlement through the very woods where Dante was hiding. Serafina felt the blood drain from her face. If the Solaris army moved through those woods, they would find the cave. They would find Dante, and they would execute him before he could even draw a breath. She stood in the war room, her heart a drumbeat of terror.
realizing that to save the man she loved, she would have to sabotage her own people.
That night, under the cover of a moonless sky, she entered the war room. The tactical maps were laid out, the key to the entire operation.
With a steady hand but a breaking heart, she altered the markers. She diverted the main force away from the cave and into a dead-end ravine that would trap them for hours, giving Dante and his people time to flee.
It was a betrayal of everything she had been taught, a sacrifice of her honor, her family, and her future.
As she burned the original orders, she knew she was setting fire to her old life.
She was no longer a hero of the Solaris. She was a ghost in her own home. But Kaelin was faster than she anticipated. He had found the charred remains of the orders and tracked her to the border.
The Solaris Guard met her at the edge of the grey woods, just as the sun began to rise.
There stood her father, the man she had idolized, and her brother, the boy she had protected. "Step aside, Seraphina," the general commanded, his voice a tremor of suppressed rage.
"Tell me you didn't do this. Tell me you didn't choose a shadow dweller over your own blood."
Seraphina didn't move. She stood her ground, her sword gleaming in the first light of dawn. Behind her, in the shadows, she could feel Dante watching, ready to die by her side. "I didn't choose the enemy, Father," she cried, her voice echoing through the valley.
I chose the truth. I chose a world where we don't have to kill to feel safe.
It was the final sacred betrayal. The general raised his hand, a signal for the archers to aim. In that moment, time seemed to stretch. Seraphina looked at her brother and saw a flicker of doubt in his eyes, a spark of the same empathy she had felt by the river.
She realized that her sacrifice wasn't just for Dante, it was a seed of change for her entire clan.
Whether she lived or died, the lie of the war had been exposed.
In the end, it wasn't the sword that won the day, but the courage to be a traitor for the right reasons.
Kaelin lowered his bow first, followed by the rest of the guard. Even the general couldn't strike down his own daughter when she stood with such undeniable soul. Seraphina and Dante disappeared into the grey woods, leaving behind a valley that would never be the same. They chose a life in the shadows together over a life in the light apart. They lost their names, but they found their souls. If this story moved your heart, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who believes in the power of love. Which was more important, Seraphina's loyalty to her clan or her love for Dante? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to Commies Network for more cinematic dramas. Click the video on your screen to watch our next tragic love story right now.